Hello everyone, my name is Kathy, and this, what you're looking at right here, is my portfolio site. I just posted it a few days ago, and I got some requests to share how I did it. So that is what I'm going to do in this video. So let's get started. So this is my portfolio, just a little overview. This is what it looks like on desktop. It has this little sidebar here with the different nav links. And then when you put it down to mobile size, it goes down to mobile nice and smoothly. And it has the smooth scroll plugin. It works pretty cool. Yeah. So this is the site. What you're going to want to do is also go here. This will give you just some notes basically that I wrote for reference. And we're going to kind of use this throughout this video. So that is the portfolio. I got that portfolio template theme from this website, https://startbootstrap.com, and the theme that I chose was this one, resume. I haven't used any of these, so I don't know if they're the same, but I'm going to try some in the future, and we'll see. But for now, I'm just going to walk you through the exact process that I did to get my portfolio site up and running. So I'm going to click on this one. And then I'm going to click on free download. It's going to download it. I'm going to drag it into this folder over here. And it's going to do the zip file, put the zip file in there. I'm going to close this because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to close that because I don't need it anymore. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to double click to extract it. And then I'm going to open it in VS Code by, not the zip file, this one, the extracted one. I'm going to click and drag it over to, nope, I'm not, because my VS Code icon is not up there. There it goes. I'm going to click and drag it over here and it will open it. Okay, so we're just going to leave that how that is for now. I'm going to minimize it, but it's open. And here in this Sass folder that I have, I'm also going to create a new folder and I'm going to call it Sass 2. And press enter. And then I'm going to open this newly created empty folder as well. Okay. So in this folder, the first thing I'm going to do is create a folder called dist. And press enter. And then I'm going to create a file inside that folder called index.html. Enter. And I'm also going to go outside of that folder in this root folder and create another folder and call it SCSS. Press enter. And then in here, I'm going to right click, or I can do this little plus file thing, and I'm going to do new file. And I'm going to call it main.scss. Okay, press enter. And there we have it. So in this Sass2 folder that we just created, I have a dist folder and I have an SCSS folder. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift exclamation mark and then enter. And this will give me boilerplate HTML. And right here, even though I'm going to override this in just a second, I'm just going to type in Sass portfolio walkthrough. Okay. And then I'm just going to say H1, hello there. I don't know what I have against hello world, but I did. So I'm going to say hello there. Okay. So in VS Code, there you can get plugins or extensions, and you do that by going here in the left hand little browser thing, you click on the little square, and then you can install the recommended, you can see your enabled or the ones that you have, right? To be able to view the project and use the same things I'm using, I would recommend installing this live server plugin, okay? Because this is what allows me to see this in the browser. So let's go take a look at that really quick. So I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to say open with live server. And there we go. We have the default HTML. It's ugly, it's plain, but live server did open this file in the manner that I just showed you, and there it is. Okay. So the next thing that we want to do is go over here to VS Code, and you're going to go to your view, and you're going to go to terminal. Open the terminal. The terminal. Okay. So we have our terminal open, and we have our folders with the things inside of it. The first thing that we need to do in here, actually, is initialize npm, or do npm init command. And the reason that we need to do that is because we need to create a package.json file. Okay. So here on this link, again, you can get to it by going to my portfolio site and going to the deployed projects and clicking on this, starting out with Sass. So when you go here, and it tells you step 1, do npm init in the terminal. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Npm init, enter, and then it's going to ask you some questions. Side note, make sure that you read everything. If you're a beginner in learning web development, that is my biggest piece of advice. I know sometimes it can be boring. Sometimes you're like, I don't got time to read all this stuff. Sometimes you just be like, I don't understand what any of this means. But read it and read it and read it over and over again until you do understand what it means. Because speaking from experience, it will save you a ton of hours if you just read what it's telling you. Anyways, after my little rant. Okay, so we went ahead and did the npm init command, and when you read through this, it says this will walk you through creating a package.json file. If you need help, use this. Once you've created it, you can install different modules, different packages, different things that make other things work, to put it in a different phrase, with npm install and then the name of whatever it is you're installing. So before we can do that, we have to create this package.json file, and let's answer these questions. So it's saying package name Sass2, is that okay? Yes, that's fine. Version 1.0, is that okay? Yes, that's fine. And for yes, that's fine, that means press enter. Description, you can put something in here. I'm going to say Sass portfolio walkthrough. Enter. Entry point index.js, that's fine with me. Enter. Test command, enter. Git repository, enter. Keywords, enter. Author, I'm going to put myself because I'm typing this. Enter. And the license, I'm going to leave it ISC. Enter. Is all of this okay? Yes, it is. Enter. So there we go. It created the package.json file. Okay. There it is. This is what it looks like. It just basically has all the questions that it asked us and their answers. Okay. So the next thing we need to do to create a portfolio site like this that was created with Sass and with Bootstrap, the next thing that we need to do is go to, okay, where is it? Okay. Next thing we need to do is install Node-Sass. So Sass, just to give you a brief rundown, is a way to make CSS in a more organized, streamlined, just, I guess, easier way of doing CSS. It takes a little bit of setup in the beginning, but it is what is used by professional developers. And if you're going to be in the world of web development, I feel like it's something important to learn and know how to do personally. But again, basically it just makes it easier and more organized. So for example, if we go back to the page here, right? What I can do with Sass is I can say primary, you know what, I'm just going to say page BG. Okay. And I'm going to set it equal to color. Let's just say red. Sorry, hold on one second. That's not what I'm going to do. To set up a variable, this is what you would do right here for the page color. But I'm going to call it primary color. It's a dash. No, the dash doesn't go there. Page BG is going to be pound 00 colon. Sorry guys. 003760. There we go. Okay. So Sass, you basically create variables and you use those variables and you set them to the properties of CSS, the properties value. So if I want the background color to be this dark color here, or whatever color, let's say I want it to be this light blue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create my variable first, which is what I just did. And then I'm going to say set properties. So I'm going to make the body of our web page the background color of it. I'm going to make it equal to page background. Let's save. And nothing's happening because we haven't installed Node-Sass yet. But I'm just going to keep it in here. And I'm going to actually type in the color, which is the text, right? I'm going to say main text color. I'm going to make it white. If I hover over this, I can change it to that. And I actually want to make it a different color, like a cream. I don't know. Okay, that's what color I want the letters to be. There we go. So, since I want them to be that, I'm going to set the color of the text equal to the variable I created for it. Okay. So again, this is the page, but nothing is happening, and that's because number one, it's not linked up here, and number two, we don't have Node-Sass installed or anything like that. So that's going to be our next step. We do have a main.scss file, but we don't have a way to write SCSS yet, and we don't have a way to compile it into regular CSS. So let's do that next. So the next thing that we're going to do is, I'm sorry, I kind of jumped ahead a little bit, is we're going to do this, npm install Node-Sass. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it in here. npm install Node-Sass, and I'm going to press enter. And there we go. It installed it. It installed the node modules folder. Every time you install something with npm, it does that. It gives you all the folders because it's everything that needs to be in there to make all of this other things work. So we're going to take a look at the package.json file again. And you can see here, before it didn't have any dependencies. Now it does, because whenever you install something with npm, it lists it here. It lists it here in the dependencies. So the next thing we need to do is we need to be able to make this actually work. And again, the point of this, of Node-Sass, of installing Node-Sass, is so that it takes the SCSS files and the code that's inside of them, this code, these variables and stuff, it compiles it into regular CSS so that the browser can actually accept it and handle it and know what it is. Because right now, none of this is working or is being applied because the browser cannot read SCSS files. It can read CSS, and watch what happens when we set up Node-Sass so that it works. So to set up Node-Sass so that it works, we have to create a script for it to compile the Sass. And again, compile means take this code that's in this SCSS file and turn it into regular CSS. So to do that, we're going to go to our package.json file. We're going to create a script. Here in the scripts object, this is a scripts object, it comes with a default test script. We're going to take this test script and we're going to change it to whatever you want to name it, really. You can name it whatever you want, but usually people name it to whatever is relevant to what you're using. So in this case, we're using Sass, so we're going to call it Sass. So then we're going to take everything that's in here and delete it. And I'm going to type this in because this is what we need now. You can feel free to copy the whole thing. Probably better that way. Yep, see? Okay, Control S. And push it over there. Okay. So basically this script, what it's saying is it's going to say, whenever we run npm run sass, which is the name of our script, we're going to take the Node-Sass program and we want the Node-Sass program to watch the SCSS files right here. We want it to watch those files, and every time we add something or make a change, we want it to get output and compiled into the dist CSS folder. I don't know what this means just yet. I don't fully understand what it means just yet. Once I do, I will explain it, but I'm not going to in this video. If y'all look it up or y'all know, let me know. But yeah, so this is how you create your script. This is the script that we're going to use, and it needs to be like this. Okay, so once you have that, you Control S to save it. And that is what makes this now work. Okay, pretty much. We only have one more step. So now that we've installed it, it's right here, the dependency, and now that we have a main.scss file, and we have our index file here, right? Here's our index file. We're going to go over here to our browser, and we are going to do npm run sass and see what it says. And then we can go back here. Test it by typing npm run sass in the terminal. npm run sass. I'm going to click over here, and we're going to see what happens, right? So over here, press enter. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's kind of just watching. So if I go here, and I change this to yellow, it says rendering complete. And you're probably wondering, well, hey, why is it not showing up here? Again, we didn't link it yet in our head, in the head of our index.html file. So we're going to do that in just a second. But if you noticed, when I made that change over here, it created a CSS folder inside the dist folder. Remember, this wasn't here before. It created it. So what it did was, is it looked, this script again, looked in here, in this file, the main.scss file, and it said, oh, it changed it from this yellow color, or from the previous cream color to this yellow color. And when the script saw that, when Node-Sass saw that, it outputted into a folder it created on its own and into a main.css file. So you see, this is the file that this page is going to understand. It doesn't understand this file. It doesn't know what these variables and these money signs and all this stuff are, but it compiles it into regular CSS. Okay, so there's that. So to see our results, let's go ahead and link it in the index.html file. And what you actually want to link is this regular main.scss, or I'm sorry, regular main.css file. Okay, so we're going to do link tab, href is going to be css / main.css. Save, and there you go. Instantaneously, it says, oh, I see what's in here. Or I see what's in here in the main CSS file. So throughout the remainder of the project, you're not going to work with this file. You're going to work in this file and write all your CSS and your variables or your Sass in here, and it's going to automatically get compiled into regular CSS by the Node-Sass program and the script that we created for it. So I hope that's not too confusing. I'm going to go ahead and show you the next part now. So since we have our Sass kind of workflow set up, the next part is pretty much bringing over everything from that template that I showed y'all. Okay, so we're going to do that next. But for now, I'm just going to do one more example, actually, because I really don't like this color at all. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to change it back to that very light color that I had. So there, so you change it super fast. And then if we look in again in the CSS, main CSS, there it is. It changes all by itself. So now that I have that set up, we're gonna install the Bootstrap template. Did we? Or we already did? Yes, we already did. Sorry, forgot that quick. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back. That's pretty much set up already. Yeah, we did this, and then this will be the Git part, the GitHub part. So I'll show y'all that in a little bit. But what we want to do is we want to go back here, and basically what I'm going to do, and this is how I did it, this is how I got my site up and running. I'm going to take, everything, or certain, not everything, certain things from this, and I'm going to put it in this project. So for starters, I am going to go to the index.html file, and I'm going to go over here and open this one, and I'm going to do Control A and then Control C to copy everything. And then I'm going to do Control V to paste everything. Okay. So if we look, it looks like this. It looks terrible, right? Yes, it does, because none of this stuff is working, because when I copied it from over here, all this stuff has vendor Bootstrap CSS. It has all the CSS and Bootstrap and source file and all the stuff. I'm not going to use all of that. I'm going to use the CDNs. That's what I used. So if you've never used CDNs before, you're going to learn a little bit about what they are. They're basically just condensed versions of all these packages. And they're, to my understanding, they're used for production environments. Instead of using the source files and I guess making things heavy, they use CDNs to make things quicker and lighter. So the reason again that it's not working is because this new file doesn't understand where everything is just yet, and everything's not in there just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this a little more, and I'm going to go to bootstrap.com. Get bootstrap.com. I'm going to click get started, and then I'm going to copy this link right here, CSS. And I'm going to go up to the head tag. And in here where it says Bootstrap Core CSS, I'm actually going to paste that in there. Control V, Control S. Okay, so that's the CDN. You can see Bootstrap CDN right here. And then it used custom fonts for this template. That's fine. You can leave that just how that is. That. Excuse me. So the next thing we need is font awesome. And I'm going to use the CDN for that as well. So I'm going to go font awesome, enter. Start using, and then I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste this in here. I'm going to replace that, paste it right there. And that's the font awesome CDN. Okay. And then it says CSS resume min.css. I am actually going to put in here main.css. Okay. So if we look at our page now, it should look a little different. And it does, right? But nothing is in the right place. It's all weird. The button's not working. This is blue color. Who said blue? It does have the font awesome icons, but it doesn't have any of the SCSS or anything like that yet. So let's get to that. Actually, first we need to scroll down here because this does use Jquery and some other things. So again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go to type in my browser. I'm going to say Jquery CDN. I'm going to type in or click on the uncompressed. And I'm just going to copy the script. You can either click this button or highlight and copy paste. I'm going to go back to my file. And instead of vendor jquery.min, I'm going to highlight this and copy and paste the new one. And there's that. And then what else do we need? We need the Bootstrap JS. And to get that, we can go back to Bootstrap. Should have just gotten it while I was there, but whatever. So if we scroll down, we can select all of this. Or actually not all of it, I'm sorry. I'm just going to copy these last two right here because we already have the jQuery. This is the slim minified version. I don't know why, but I've been taught to not really use that one because sometimes certain things don't work. I haven't researched it as to why yet either, but it is what it is. So I copied the popper.js and also the Bootstrap minified.js. Okay, so I'm going to put those two right here, and I'm going to keep this, but I'm actually going to go find the CDN for it as well. Okay, so Control V, Control S, saves and formats. So this one is Popper. This one is Bootstrap minified.js. And then I need to find, I'm going to call this main.js. Okay. And then I need to find the CDN for this. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say Jquery using CDN. Okay. Jquery using.js. I'm going to use this one. Yeah, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to click on the little down arrow and copy the script tag. And again, that's all you do is type in Jquery using CDN. So then I'm going to paste that in here. And there we have it. So most of this is set up. So let's take a look at our page. And it still looks pretty much the same. But look, the menu now works. That's because the JavaScript, Bootstrap JavaScript, is in there. So this again is the one that we created, the folder that we created. To get this to look the way it's supposed to, we're going to go back to the Start Bootstrap Resume GitHub Pages, the template that we downloaded. And what I'm going to do is it in here? No, it's not in there. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this file, actually over here, inside the dist folder. I am going to create a new folder called JS. Inside that folder, I'm going to add a file that says main.js. Enter. And in here, I'm going to go to resume.js and I'm going to do Control A, over here, sorry, Control A, Control C to copy everything, and I'm going to go over here and do Control V to paste it. Okay. So that's in there. So I can close that. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here. And everything that is in resume.css, I'm going to Control C. And I'm going to come over here to our CSS folder. And I'm going to create a file that says, I'm going to create these same files over here. Actually, I'm going to go in the Finder window and I'm going to copy them. all of these, Control C, and then I'm going to go over here to our SAS2 folder, and I'm going to go into SCSS, and I'm going to go paste, Control V. And now, if I look in here, all of those files are in here. So what we can do is we need to rename some of these. Okay, so I'm going to rename this one. Actually, I'm not going to rename it. I'm going to copy everything that's in here, Control C, and then I'm going to paste it in here, Control V. Okay. And then I'm just going to delete this because I really don't need it anymore. Because I'm calling mine main instead of resume. That's really all I'm doing. Okay. So I have main, and then I have variables, I have resume, nav, mixins, global, bootstrap overrides. Okay. So now let's take a look. And there we have it. This is how the template looks. And everything works. The scrolls by, everything, it all works. Okay. So again, I know that was kind of long, but that was really my process of creating the portfolio that I did. And I don't need this anymore. So I'm going to close. No, you know what? I'm going to say something about this, so I'm not going to close it just yet. But okay, and the photo is not working because there is no photo. See? You just gotta remember. So in the dist folder, I'm going to create a new folder and call it img. And then I'm gonna go to this one and I'm gonna go img and I'm gonna copy it. And what I would recommend with the picture is just to open this on your computer and look at its properties like the size, the dimensions, and then create your own photo with the same dimensions of this one. Right click and paste. So now there's an image in there. I'm going to minimize this again and close that, and let's see. There he is. Not sure who that is, but if you're the person that made this cool template, thank you very much. Clicking on the photo takes you back home. Okay, so there it is. So this, the next thing, I thought I was going to be wrapping it up, but I have a couple more things to talk about, I guess. Again, one of the cool things about SAS files is that you can change everything. So if you see, this has a theme of a main color. It has like a main color theme too. This grayish color, this brownish color, and then this blackish color, and then the grayish color. So if we open these files over here and take a look, in our main.scss, we are importing all of these other files. So these are Bootstrap overrides, these are global. This is the global SCSS. So this file is the one that's going to have the majority of the colors, right? So, Oh no, it's not. I'm sorry. That's incorrect. The variables.css is what's going to have the majority of the colors. So if we look at this in our browser, this is how I do things sometimes. If I look at this and I select this element right here, it's going to tell me this is the background color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that and I'm going to copy it. Can highlight and copy. And then I'm going to go over here to VS Code and I'm going to type in Command F, and then I'm going to paste that in. So I know that orange is what they have named this variable for this color. Okay. So then if you go down here, you see primary color is set to orange. The primary color is set to orange, and orange is set to that brown color. I don't know why they called it orange, just kind of like brown, burnt sienna. Anyways, if you go to your index.html file and you type in primary, you can see that here it says BG primary. So if I were to turn that word to danger, and I say danger because danger is a Bootstrap color and danger stands for red in Bootstrap. I change that to danger. Let's see what happens. Where did it go? Danger. Primary. Let me start at primary. There we go. I change that to danger. It turns red. But I don't want to change it to danger. I want to leave it as primary. What I want to do to be able to change everything that's brown, because everything that's brown in here is set to primary in here. If you look at primary, so Control Z, you type in primary, you see how primary has 8. So if we go down, text is primary, there's some more text primary, more text primary, more text primary. Everything that has primary is going to be this brown color. I want to change it all at once. So what I would do is I would go back to my variables.scss and I would change this to whatever color I want. Say I want it to be peach. Okay, I'm going to press Control Save. Sometimes you have to restart the server for it to actually take effect. Orange default. Control S, close that, and close that, close that, and save that. And then I'm going to Control C or Command C to get out of the server. I'm going to kill this, and then I'm going to open it again. Let's see, open live server. And then we're going to do, sorry, let me do that. Let me kill that. And let's go npm run sass. Enter. Watching it. Now I'm going to open it again. And it's still brown. Resume item. What is our resume item? Not done. Oh, it's in there. That's what it was. You see? And that's the thing. Sometimes you have to be very vigilant and very in-depth. Not sometimes, freaking all the time. You just never know. You never know what it is that's stopping you from getting to your goal. And I only did that because I remembered from when I did my project. But yeah, you just gotta keep at it, keep fiddling with it, keep doing it. Sometimes it can get frustrating, but you figure it out eventually. You really do. So let's see. Let's go back to variables and let's change this to black. And it did it right away. Let's change it to orange, like for real orange. There we go. So everything that has the primary tag is now orange. And that's the power of Sass. So I want to change these. These are actually a little different. I had to do these. Let me see. So the color of those is this color. Text warning. So I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to go over here. And warning is that yellow color. And I don't want it to be that yellow color. So I'm going to say it's going to be, it's a good color. Good contrasting color. How about a blue? Let's do blue. Like that. And I'll say light blue. And then down here, I'm going to say light blue. And I'm going to say save. And see how it gave me an error at first because it was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But now it's green. So if I scroll down there, those should be blue. And they're not. Control S. And they're still not. So, light blue. Did I spell it right? Save. You know what sometimes works? Clearing the cache. Clear the cache or disabling cache. Nope, didn't work this time. So again, maybe I just have to close this out, which is kind of a pain sometimes. I'm not sure what the workaround to that is, but warning is going to be like blue. Do Control C again. And then I'm going to run Sass again, npm run Sass. And there it is. And then I'm going to get rid of that and go live again. And I don't know why it's doing that. Is there already a light blue in there? Go ahead and close that. Close that. And let's do Control S to save everything. And then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say Open with Live Server. And there we go. And they're still this color. So let's say Control F and let's investigate. Warning. And warning, text warning, text warning. And then what I'm going to do is I'll close this because I don't think I really need that anymore. I'm going to look up warning over here in the sidebar. PG primary, text primary. Important. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to press Command Shift F for Frank, and I'm going to type in text dash warning. And it says that it's in here 7 times. So it's not a Bootstrap override. What am I missing, y'all? Light blue. Light blue. Maybe it needs to be a capital B. Maybe it has to be camel case. Light blue. No, that's not what it wants. Okay. These are div icons. Let's go back over here. Inspect. What was it? What was it? Text warning. What does it apply to? Dot text warning. Where is that? Shouldn't be in the nav bar. Is it in here? I can't remember what it was that I did. Did I add some CSS? Text emphasis. Bootstrap mixins. Okay, let's look for text emphasis. Command Shift F, emphasis. And no results found. Why? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna copy this because I didn't install the source files. I think that's why that's happening. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to go up here, maybe? Let's see. See if this will work. Okay, and then I'm going to do this right here. And there we go. I think that is what I did in mine as well. That's a workaround. That's not a good color at all. But there you go. I know that this took some time and you're probably like, oh my gosh, it took so long. But, you know, sometimes you just got to figure it out. Take the time to figure it out. And yeah, there you go. So it's pretty much done. That's how I did it. And tomorrow, when I've rested a little bit, I'm going to go over how to get it on your GitHub and how to deploy it using Firebase, because that's what I use most of the time. So yeah, that's it for tonight. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope this helps. If you have questions, you know where to find me. All right, everybody. Have a good evening, and I will be back.